Hey guys, and welcome to a special edition of D3Live. So today we're going to be talking about the next generation of iPhone. And to help kind of give you guys some ideas and some insight into it, I have two special guests. So go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
Hey guys, I'm Adam. I have a YouTube channel where I review technology at youtube.com/TechTechManTV.
Hi, I'm CyberAceTV, and I also make technology videos, like reviews and news and all that such.
So the three of us are going to go ahead and just give you guys some insight and kind of give you guys what we're thinking about for the next iPhone, whether they call it, the iPhone 5 or whatever. So the first thing I want to just go ahead and definitely talk about is, just what really to expect as far as the hardware-wise. Personally, I don't really expect a huge upgrade. I think that the iPhone 4 is a very, very advanced phone. I don't really, it's not like, where the 3GS, where, it was miles behind. I really don't see a huge upgrade in its future. I think it'll probably be confined to, smaller upgrades like that. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I personally don't think there's going to be too much of a change between the current iPhone 4 and the iPhone 5. Probably something along the lines of the iPhone 3G to 3GS spec upgrades.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Because they just added two cameras and stuff, so I can't really see them adding anything major in the near future.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you guys. I think there's always going to be room for small things. I definitely think they will probably fix the antenna, or they'll at least tweak the design. They'll probably do some smaller things. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new upgraded processor, maybe like an Apple A5. But I think it's mostly going to be smaller improvements,
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yes.
Okay, so this is something a lot of people have been asking about. What do you guys think about the possibility of a Verizon iPhone? When do you guys think we'll see it?
I definitely think there will be a Verizon iPhone in the near future. There's been a lot of rumors pointing to a January launch date, and BoyGeniusReport.com published an article earlier this month, saying that Apple was in the last stage of testing it, so it's definitely very possible.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree. There's a lot of evidence that goes that it's very possible, and I think we'll definitely probably see one within the next year.
Yeah, I agree. The only really question on my mind is, are we going to see it in January, maybe at CES, or are we going to go ahead and just see it, maybe June, July, somewhere where Apple usually releases them? That's my only question. I mean, I almost could see, if they decide to do it in January, I almost could see them doing, maybe the Verizon iPhone could be just a standard iPhone 4. But if they go ahead and wait till June, instead of breaking their schedule, so it kind of depends. That's my main question. I mean, I'm not really sure about when we'll actually see it. I guess CES would be a good place to go ahead and see it as far as, January. That's what a lot of the things we've heard. The only thing, though, that just kind of breaks Apple's tradition, and I'm not sure if they do that just to announce Verizon. I mean, what do you guys think?
Personally, I don't think we're going to be seeing a Verizon iPhone at CES 2011, but who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I would definitely say probably closer to June, because having it on Verizon is kind of a big thing. So I would think they'd wait until the time of year when they usually announce like the major updates to the iPhone for announcing something like that.
Yeah, and that one thing is that, once we do see it on Verizon, that's going to open up not only just for Verizon, but it's going to allow it, obviously, on all kinds of CDMA carriers around the world. So it's going to be, a bigger deal than just in the United States. So that definitely should be something interesting to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So one of the really interesting things about the iPhone, obviously every year after year, is the software updates. So every year Apple continues to chip away. They continue to add new features, all that kind of stuff. What are you guys really thinking about what we're going to see in iOS 5.0?
Well, I definitely think we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff in iOS 5.0. I definitely think there should be some sort of a widget system, like on Android. I really hope that's coming. Maybe improved push notifications as well. That's what a lot of people have been wanting.
Yeah, I expect it to be pretty well. I really liked iOS 4, though there was some things that could have used changes. I hope they smooth up the multitasking a little bit, because every time you close an app, it stays open, the multitasking out like that. And I definitely think that iOS 5 will be pretty good, other than iOS 4.
Yeah, and about the multitasking there, I definitely think that needs a lot of improvement. Not just the way it's multitasking, but the interface is just really annoying to close more than one app at a time.
I think a lot of the perceived lag has to do with just it's all has to do with the home button. So you have to double tap the home button and everything like that. And a lot of times, because it's it's the double press instead of the single press, it's the algorithm kind of has to wait a certain amount of time to see if you're doing a single press or a double press. So I think a lot of that just kind of comes down to fine tuning as far as they have to get it exactly right.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
Yeah, I really would like to see a widget system. I mean, you look at the SpringBoard on the iPod and the iPhone and the iPad. Well, it's a solid interface. You can get to your apps very quickly, especially with the addition of folders. It kind of looks outdated compared to what you see on Android with the widgets, and especially if you look at the live tiles on Windows Phone 7. The other phones, they're really moving forward to making the home screen filled with all kinds of different things. Whereas on the iPhone, you look at it and you just see icons. I mean, it's kind of it kind of adds an unnecessary step in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely with the Windows Phone 7, the live tiles look amazing, and I think that's definitely a great new feature in Windows Phone 7. Now, one other thing that I really want to come to iOS 5 or the next software update would be something on the lock screen. We really don't have too much on the lock screen. Yeah, we can slide to unlock and get like text messages and missed calls, but I really think Apple should be putting something there in the next update.
I would definitely like to see an improved home screen on the iOS devices as well.
Yeah, so I think we're all in agreement. Yeah, that's definitely probably one of the main things that Apple's going to work on. Now, one other thing that, I've gone back and forth on this for a while, is whether Apple is ever going to let you sideload applications. So actually allow you, not like jailbreak your phone or anything like that, but allow you to get applications that aren't from the App Store. Like take them through iTunes. They wouldn't have full access like a jailbreak application, but what do you guys think about the possibility of actually Apple allowing you to sideload your own apps onto your iPod or your iPhone?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's ever going to really happen. I can't really see that happening with Apple in the near future. They're really against jailbreaking and Cydia and all of that, so I'm just not sure about that.
Yeah, the same. Apple's always very secure with their App Store and stuff, and I don't really know if they would let you use other apps or not. I know that Android does that, but it can be very hectic because you never know what's on the applications.
That's a good point. Yeah, the main reason I've thought about this, because obviously Apple's been trying to stop jailbreaking, and obviously they've never been able to do it. The jailbreak teams have always been able to get back into it, find new holes. But the main reason I said that was obviously they're putting in the new Mac App Store. But of course on the Mac you can use the App Store, or you can go ahead and just download your own applications. And the main reason I say that was actually somebody, I believe it was Engadget, was talking to Steve Jobs, and they actually asked, well, would you ever allow sideloading? And he says, well, not at this time. Which for Steve Jobs, usually he's like no or yes. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing he would say. But of course we will just have to see. Okay, so for the second segment of D3 Live, we'll be taking live questions from everybody. So as always, every episode of D3 Live is filmed in front of Blog TV, and we have well over 40 people in the room right now. Let's go ahead and just take some questions. So what is sideloading? Actually, that's a pretty good question. Sideloading is mostly taken from Android. It's the way to go ahead and get applications not from the App Store. So, of course, Android has the Android market. However, there's nothing stopping you in most phones. A couple of them do lock it down, but most phones allow you to go ahead and just take any application that you want. You can download and sideload it. So I don't know if we'll actually see that, but I think that would that definitely would be an interesting feature. It would kind of cut down on a lot of the jailbreaking apps that we would like. Do you think Apple will make lock screen have more features such as weather? Yeah, that's what we were talking about a little bit. Weather would be great. What do you guys think? What would be some other cool features that they could put on the lock screen?
I personally want Apple to have an option to, for example, reply to emails or your text messages. And weather would be awesome to have on the lock screen as well. I just want a better notification system mainly there.
Yeah, it would be nice to see like weather and email and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, and I'd actually like to see them take a step further and actually allow your apps. So if you download an app, like let's say you download a Twitter client, well, you could actually go ahead and put the Twitter client on your lock screen, actually allow the applications themselves to go ahead and customize it. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be great as well.
Yes, that would be pretty sweet to be able to do that.
What do you think the iPhone 5 camera can it get better? Actually, yeah, I think they will. I think the cameras, they're constantly, especially in these phones, they're constantly getting better. These they used to be 3 megapixels was great. Now it's 5. Now 8 megapixels is even starting to look a little bit outdated. I probably think, I think it won't be a massive upgrade. Personally, don't you guys agree the iPhone 4 camera is pretty decent for a cell phone?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the thing. I think that it will get a lot better as far as, every year they'll, maybe it might be an 8 megapixel camera, maybe it might shoot 1080p video. So I definitely would like to see it, increase, but I don't think it'll be, a massive overhaul, I guess. Well, the iPhone 5 dropped calls. Now that's actually something that we kind of touched on a little bit earlier. I think that Apple is really going to need to at least partially redesign the antenna on the next iPhone. Now, of course, when they first did it, they were very excited about it. They were saying how it allows them to have more space by integrating the antenna on the outside. And I think it could very well work as a pretty decent design. The only thing though is that I think they're just going to have to tweak it a little bit, make it where if they don't scrap the whole thing, they might just need to tweak it so that there's not one place where you touch it and it kills the reception.
Agree. The antenna problem, I'm an iPhone 4 user. I don't believe either you have one. But
No.
for me, when I travel with it, there's just some areas that it's worse than others. For example, where I live, if you touch the antenna gate problem area on your phone, it's not too bad, but I've traveled places where it just drops immediately, completely.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with is that it just lowers your reception. So if you're in a good area, it might not really make it a big thing. But if you're on one of those fringe areas and you touch it, you might lose the signal altogether. So yeah, I can definitely see how that would make sense. Is the iPhone 5 going to refer to the iPhone 4GS? Actually, we were talking about this a little bit before the show started. Honestly, I had no idea. What do you guys think the next iPhone is going to be called? The iPhone 5? The iPhone 4GS? I honestly actually don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Possibly we can go with the iPhone 4GS, but it has the name 4G in it, and it might not be 4G by that time, so maybe something like the 4S, which doesn't sound like a great name.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do something along the lines of a anniversary iPhone since it's a 5th year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that possibly 4GS if somehow they do get it on a 4G network, but if not, then I really don't know what it would be called.
Yeah, I entirely agree. I can see if it somehow was 4G capable, which I don't really see, but if it was, I would absolutely expect them to just call it the iPhone 4G, but I don't think it is. So I guess iPhone 5 would be my best guess, but yeah, honestly, I don't really know. I think we'll just have to wait till we get a little bit closer till they actually announce it. Will the iPhone 5 have a better graphics system? Yeah, I would think so. I think that every year after year, Apple updates the specs as far as how fast it is, and I'm sure that the graphics will be improved. That's what I'm really expecting to see is the next Apple processor. So I imagine they would call it maybe the A5 or whatever. But I would expect it would probably have better graphics. Although the iPhone 4 definitely is no slouch as far as graphics are concerned. There are some really good looking games on the iPhone 4. What's it called? The Epic Citadel? That's the one. Yeah, that looks amazing. It's actually got the Unreal Engine. So I would expect them to go ahead and improve it a little bit. But to be honest, I don't really think it's all that necessary. I think the iPhone 4, of course, the iPad and the iPod Touch 4th generation included, are they're pretty solid graphics wise. Will there be more apps included in the iPhone 5? That's actually, they're probably usually, when they update it with the new OS, they'll probably might have, like they add the Compass app, they add a Game Center, stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with some other sort of, pre-built application. To be honest, I don't really know what it would be, but yeah, they're always adding more and more stuff. Actually, a lot of people in the chat are talking that they think that the next iPhone will be the iPhone X. I don't know, that's actually kind of an interesting name. What do you guys think? The iPhone X? Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, it definitely sounds like an interesting name, but I don't know if I could see Apple just going from something like iPhone 4 to iPhone X and then back to a number again.
Yeah, I don't know what that really would relate to, so sounds cool, but I doubt Apple will use it.
Yeah, I agree. Will there be a home screen and lock screen rotation on the iPhone 5? That's a great question. You know, I would love to see that. I think I've never actually really seen really phone platforms actually allow you to do that. But I think that if anybody was going to do it, it would be Apple. I mean, you can obviously do it on the iPad by rotating it. I think that actually would be a really interesting and useful feature to go ahead and be able to. Obviously, you need a lock to keep it from doing it unnecessarily. But what do you think? Would that be kind of interesting to go ahead and allow you to use it in different orientations on your iPhones in specific?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the cool new features in Cydia. Well, I shouldn't say new, but
Yeah.
you get like SD rotator, and you can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it would definitely be interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how well, as far as usability, it might not be perfect all the time, but I think it would be kind of interesting to go ahead and, especially if apps, all apps were had some way of rotating as well. The way it is now, most apps don't. A few of them do, but if they really made it where everything, if you rotate your phone, everything would go over, that would be really cool in my opinion. So anyway, guys, that's it for this episode of D3Live. Again, I'd like to give a special thanks to my guests, TechTechManTV as well as CyberAceTV. So definitely go ahead and check out their channels. I will go ahead and have a link to both of them in the description. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching.